Good day. I'm Roberta Winters, President of the League of Women Voters of Radnor Township, and I'm here today with another board member, Ann Childs.
Hi, Roberta. It's good to be with you today. Everyone is still talking about the election, and I think the League now is doing a study on election law reform, and we thought it'd be of interest to others, so we should share that today.
That's right, Ann. As you know, the League can never advocate unless we have a position. Yeah. And that's why we wanted to tell you a little bit about the League studies, because that's how we develop our positions.
I think that's a great idea because I think it shows the thoughtful nature of the League. I've been involved in some of the studies, and it's important because they're a basis for which we develop our positions. So if you don't study it, you can't have a position that holds water, right? And those positions are the basis for our advocacy. Basically, we observe a problem, and from many viewpoints, and then come to a consensus and develop a position. Because I heard at a meeting, we helped establish the recycling that we do in the township. Is that right?
That's right. We've done a lot because we've studied issues, we've got positions, and then we try to advocate for something that works.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
And at the state level, right now, our positions fall into basically three categories. We have representative government, which is where our election reform comes in. We also have social policy, which things about schools or health care. And then we have natural resource policies that deal with things like the environment and climate change. But obviously, election reform comes under our government policies.
Mm-hmm. Our election study that we are now conducting has two parts with different timelines. The first deals with voter registration and election day procedures. That's interesting. And we have that completed. We talked about that a few weeks ago. The second is alternative election systems and voting. I don't know a lot about this. We have until December to finish up that study, good thing, because both are going to be quite informative.
Oh, yes. Well, let's get back to it for a minute and talk about how a study works. First, the League members, whether at the local or state or national level, see an issue, like the election reform, and then we want to see how it's addressed. They bring together an annual planning meeting, which we just had this week, and we go through all of our positions and say, what needs to be revised, what maybe we need to throw out, or maybe we need to do a study that we've never done before. Mm-hmm. And once we pick an issue, we study it. And it can come through reading a lot of materials. We have resources online. It can come from having experts come and speak to us, and then we can discuss what's going on. Mm-hmm. Basically, we learn a lot. And as we learn more, we look at it from very different perspectives. We put stuff on websites, and if people want to know more about what we're doing, they can just Google LWVPA. It's easy to remember, LWVPA, and there's lots of resources there. And we don't begin with knowing what the answer is. That's important. I've been in a lot of committees where people have they already decided, and then you sit there.
Yeah, exactly.
So our study is open to everybody. So that's always good too, because we invite other people to join us and learn too.
And as part of this study, then questions are developed first, right? And they are broad and focused on the study. They are limited in number and can be answered simply with room for explanation. So it's good to start with a question. You're right, not with the answer.
Now, but then comes the real challenge. And a few weeks ago, Ann, you and I went to those consensus meetings. We did. And for those of if you're a Quaker, you probably understand what consensus is, but most people don't understand what it is. But basically, if we have questions developed and they're limited in just a short period of time, we then can develop a consensus. It's not just a vote by the majority. So it's not like saying, I want elections to be held on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday.
Right.
We have to decide that.
There's an interchange. There's a back and forth. Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not a vote. We don't say, how many people think this and how many people think that. But rather we try to get an understanding of where people are coming from and come up with a decision that everybody can live with. And a consensus really is a collective opinion, and it's not just a vote again. And in some cases, we don't even reach consensus.
I remember that, which I thought was pretty healthy, actually.
And so,
sometimes you can't.
No, and then we don't develop a position based on that question because we said, we just don't know. It's too gray.
Yes, and I think it's right. It's not a simple process. And unlike a study, only League members can participate. Others are welcome to come and watch, however. Consensus can take time, as we knew that last time, and people need to be prepared with a good understanding of the issues involved. And that's good to have done your homework so you don't go into it cold, because sometimes it doesn't make sense unless you do that. Sometimes you even have to be creative, I think, yes, in your ideas. That's true.
But once those questions are answered and we've reached consensus, the league members who are involved in the study at the state level or at the local level, who's ever prompting it, come together and they take those answers and develop a position. And these positions are developed in such a way that they usually hold water over decades.
Yeah, I think
it's not a knee-jerk reaction.
Right. Yeah.
They're also consistent with league principles, like we uphold the Constitution of the United States and things like that. So they have to be consistent with what's been done before, but also in a meaningful way that we believe will last for a long time.
The league principles, I like that word. League principles go back nearly 100 years.
Right.
Oh, but it's because the voting, yes.
Yes, and the
1920, there you go. They are political, but are not partisan. They include our beliefs in representative government and the individual liberties provided by the Constitution, as well as the need for informed participation in government and the citizens' right to know. In addition to principles focused on social issues, natural resources, and world peace, our current focus is on the need to protect every citizen's right to vote. Hear, hear.
And that's been a long-standing mission of the League. Well, I hope that gives us a big picture for our League study, so when people sit here and at their home and listen to what we're saying, they'll get a sense of where it's going in the big picture. And remember, these studies can be done at any level, and they're a great way to get educated and then advocate.
Oh, perfect. It's been a good review for me too, Roberta, because it always bears repeating, at least 3 times, if nothing more. We hope this has been helpful to the audience, who may or may not have been part of a League study before.
And we'd like to thank our audience for watching today, and remember that the League is a voice for citizens and a force for change. So stay tuned as we are joined by one of our experts later today who will help us understand more about elections and some of the alternatives we have when it comes time to vote and elect people to serve us in public ways. Thank you.